What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, it's the end of the week before we head into a holiday week here in the United States. We'll be taking a look over here at the cryptocurrency market, including the altcoin market cap. We'll peek over there at Bitcoin. It's been a couple of weeks of whirlwind news, as you all know, with FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried. I'll probably just gloss over those things today. I think we're all pretty beaten down from all of that, even though it is incredibly important. I think we kind of all understand the gist of what has happened there. As for crypto prices, they've really just stayed still ever since we had that sell-off last week when the FTT token collapsed. So we still have been holding the lows here since November 9th. The big question remains, was that our Wyckoff ending that happened in there, or Wyckoff spring happening in the market? At the same time, of course, it's like there's a lot of contagion that is still just kind of showing up day by day. One of the things we were talking about on Wednesday is whether or not there was any impact that happened to Digital Currency Group or happened to Grayscale. Turns out Genesis did lose $175 million with FTX. I saw Dylan LeClaire post over here on Twitter yesterday. Oh boy, as per 2-Bit Idiot, which is Ryan Selkis, Genesis holding company Digital Currency Group, the issuer of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, is experiencing a liquidity crunch. Appears holding company's DCG liquid assets are below liabilities. As a result, it looks like DCG is looking to raise outside funds. Then the tweet was deleted, but I believe it says something along the lines of DCG or Digital Currency Group trying to raise $1 billion. So while prices remain stable here this week, everybody's still on the edge of their seat to see, is there going to be a bigger player that does fall? If you don't know, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust owns a tremendous amount of Bitcoin, I believe to the tune of about 600,000 Bitcoins, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Otherwise, sticking just to the chart here, looking at the altcoin market cap, low still holding at this point. We'll see how it goes through the weekend and into the holiday week next week. As for Bitcoin, it's the exact same story. It's been holding since November 9th. We went through this over the last couple of videos on the technical breaks that have happened here on Bitcoin, deviating it away from 2014 and 2018. So still for me, it's kind of like, just sit back and kind of let this thing play out for a minute to get a clearer picture. Because when we look to the past of how Bitcoin has reacted during long periods of downward price action, every element that has showed up in the past reversals at the bottoms has already happened here in Bitcoin, yet we're continuing to step down. Of course, it was met with an event at the exact same time, the collapse of FTX, but somehow still holding there since November 9th, along with the altcoin market. As for XRP, this is one of the ones that's still kind of a head scratcher to me in here, as we have now dipped below the Wyckoff sign of strength region in here, right? So we're now like kind of hovering there. It's not as if we're really finding support on top of it, but more so that like this 39-cent area, this 38-cent area is more of acting like resistance right now. So until we can break out of it, then we can have things to start talking about to say, hey, can we get out of here? Can we get back to retracement levels and find some support on top of it? And this was a catalyst event, a black swan event that caused prices to get too far. But now we go back and we really truly find support on that level. Or are we going to continue to find some resistance happening right in here? But this was our level that we were looking for things to hold in here from a Wyckoff spring. And we could see right now it's acting as like kind of a resistance at this point, which is the opposite of what happened with Doge, right? So Doge gave us the same setup in here. And what did Doge do? It fell right back into that sign of strength region, and it has found support on top of it. So this was the optimal thing we're looking for over there on XRP. But as we can see, that's not what we're getting down here, right? We're not holding on top of that support level. We're sitting underneath it. So heading into the week to see if we can get ourselves to break back above it. Otherwise, the picture gets a little bit more foggy here for XRP, as it did not maintain that level. Moving over to get a quick view at the macro going on. Obviously, one of the hard things about all of this happening with FTX and all these events at the same time is that we've seen a sharp decline in the US dollar currency index, or the DXY. Even on the weekly time frame, we look on there, we can see the indicators have fallen. The weakness has emerged here in the DXY with a sharp fall. This week, the DXY really just kind of paused out. But at the same time, the stock market, of course, has been ripping up. So even the Dow Jones Industrial Average this week was able to hit the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement. So these are things we're talking about, big old bubbles happening in here and getting a retracement. There you go, guys. A retracement emerged. The thing we were looking for in Bitcoin and crypto, which we just can't seem to get. A retracement has emerged in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now it's all caution and warnings and scary stuff, because as we get back to those retracements, we know that retracements can reject. And we've been talking about this for a long time, and I've brought it up in many videos. I could pull them all up, but we'll just point to this Twitter thread that I'd put out on September 26th, where I'd said, I believe that the Dow Jones Industrial Average has popped. And on point 13, talking about it's also very possible we're nearing the capitulation moment of this move that will eventually lead to a giant retrace bounce that lasts for a couple years, only to never set new highs, then roll over with the whole Great Depression taking 30 years to reach the bottom. You guys have unquestionably seen this before, showing how Ethereum popped as well, but that we were nearing the capitulation moment back there on September 26th, which was right here, September 26th. We've hit, now we've come back and we've hit. So like in a typical ABC correction, you would eventually see something more along the lines of this, right? Still not much more than that. And this could take over a year to play out in here, but it's dancing with fire, right? And on point number 19, talking about bear markets are incredibly difficult to navigate. I consider them exponentially more difficult to navigate than bull markets. If we find some kind of bounce in here, I'll consider it a gift from God. And it may explain why Bitcoin is holding up during all of this, and that we were talking about a bounce coming out of here, even though we were straight line down to get ourselves back up in here, right? And so this area right in here gets you back into that 34,000 price level, which where are we right now? 33,700. So I get it. We're all frustrated that we're not getting any type of retracements coming here in the cryptocurrency market, but this is functional marketing. This is functional markets, right? Getting bounces, getting retraces, these things are typical. Now comes the big questions as we get back into these zones, as these were the areas we were looking for to get a retracement. But just market structure wise, what is this? This is not an ABC happening in here, right? This is more of like just your first leg, right? But the problem is I know how this works. There's a bunch of people who will scream at me if we don't go back and set that just barely new little high. So, this is caution, right? There is caution here as the Dow is back at these levels. It's in the retracements. How it's going to play from here, that's the big guessing game on Elliott wave structures beyond that. But what we know right now, we're back in here. These are the things we were looking for, getting back into those levels. I've been talking to my family members and being like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Are you going to make any moves? Are you going to stay still? And there seems to be a lot of complacency with my family that they're just going to stay in. So that, of course, has me worried. We've gone through the Dow Jones Industrial Average structure many times on this channel. A retracement was expected. We've now gotten one. Beyond here, these are where things can get dicey. If this is the top of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, whether or not it's going to go ahead and go back for retracement now, or a typical ABC, which pulls back and then goes back up to it. But we know we're at the retracement level right now. And since I'm recording this prior to the market's opening, we can look at the pre-market and see just a tad above the 618 retracement now as we get ready to open with the Dow up 186 points. So dollar paused out, stocks paused out this week. We can see that too. This Dow has just sat here at this 618 all week. But man, what a rip in the stocks. What a fall in the US dollar currency index, taking out the 50 and the 100-day moving averages for the first time since June of last year. So for the last year and 5 months, we get our break through it, and we're met with all of this. So the hard part is sitting there being like the Contagion thing, right? Going through that with Luna and UST, and that was my first time to go through something of that magnitude. And again, I've been here since the first half of 2017. When Bitcoin was in the teens, $1,800, riding all the way up to $20,000, crashing down to $3,100, all that stuff. There were no collapses of that magnitude that happened in 2018, but we had the Luna collapse and the UST collapse, and it led to more contagion and more people losing their assets on things like Celsius and BlockFi. And so you look at the charts and you say, well, that's Wyckoff. We nailed it. But of course, that uneasy feeling of the unknown out there. So as we get ready to head into the holiday week, which I will be here most of the week, I will be off a few days next week because it's Thanksgiving here in the United States. It's one of the bigger holidays of the year. Kids don't go to school during Thanksgiving break, but I'll still be here several days throughout next week. But heading into that week, it's going to be seeing about, what's going to happen with the stock market here now that it's back into its retracement levels. When we get further breakdown in the dollar, have we just completed our spring in the altcoin market? And are there any surprises of any contagion that are going to be emerging? Definitely an unclear picture out there right now. Just looking at the altcoin market cap, comparing that from a Wyckoff structure, looks great. But we know all the other overhanging things out there right now. And so as we've sit here in these price ranges since November 9th of last week, just kind of waiting to get a little bit of direction emerging from there to start saying, okay, here we go. Otherwise, as we get ready to head into the week, I'll fill you guys with some fluff. I posted over there on Twitter last night that you guys may have noticed I was off yesterday. I wasn't really posted on Twitter or anything like that. My mom has somehow made it through the last 2.5 years never catching C19. She's one of those people who wear masks all the time, stays home a lot, real cautious about the things that she does, and somehow she's never caught it. If you don't know, I've caught it 3 times. Yesterday morning, I got a text message from her that she finally has it. She had 101 fever. My mom is in her 70s. So, of course, that upper age, you start getting a little bit concerned. And it became my priority yesterday to make sure she had all the things she needed, run errands for her, pick up her dog for her. And just, I kind of needed a day to myself with that. I didn't even really want to share it out there with the public because it's kind of, I don't know. C19, it always stirs up different responses in the comments every time that I do it, Every time I've caught it, it always does. But anyway, that's what was going on yesterday. I woke up this morning. I hadn't heard back from her. I was getting a little bit worried. But here, while I was recording she called me. And she's showing signs of improvements already. So that's fantastic. As for drumming, I have rejoined the band. So back in action on playing the drums again. Had to take a break there for a little while to reorganize things in my own life. But got those in order. Back on the drums. As for the fish tank, well, hey, everything is lively and going on in here. You can see some babies swimming around in there doing their own thing. The big news, of course, was that I got myself a 75-gallon fish tank, and I scooped this up throughout the week. It's requiring some work. I do have to reseal the edges in here. This tank's a little bit older, so I've got to really peel all the silicone out of there and re-silicone it. And then at the same time, I am also sanding it down, and I just didn't like the color of it. I really wanted like a dark walnut color, so it's just been kind of a process, and it's taken me all week just to try to balance life at the same time, and then just kind of going into my garage for an hour and then sanding and then staining. And hopefully throughout the next couple of days, I have that fixed, and I'm hoping by early next week I can start getting the tank all set up. So I'll show you guys that when I do. But it'll be fun to start fresh on a new tank again. With this main tank still, it's always different types of algae and cutting plants back and trying to battle this algae stuff. But nobody's dying, so everybody's surviving, and life is thriving in there. And so that's what I'm happy about, and it's exciting to move on up to a 75-gallon and see what we can do with that one. But as for crypto, this week was marked with just, developments happening within Contagion, developments coming out in regards to what was going on with FTX and what was going on with Sam Bankman-Fried. The bankruptcy filings state that this is worse than Enron. So we'll see how things go into next week, but we stayed pretty flat throughout this week. We'll see what's going on next week. As I mentioned earlier in the week, I did add to the newsletter over here on Substack with the audio recording voiceover of this. Also, the 702 digital art NFT collection is still available over there at on XRP. Link in the description of this video as well, and kind of a making of video over here on my Twitter. But otherwise, I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.